Hello viewers, welcome back to our channel Caspian Accounting Service. Thanks for watching all our videos. Please subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon. You get all the notifications. Today again we are coming here to discuss something about the employer-employee concept. So here my friend here is Balaji is here.
Right.
So we're going to discuss something which would be useful to you for you guys.
Right.
That's the main reason that we are here. And this, I want to discuss this because, as you know, the majority, or most of us, we are all employees working 9 to 5, and we have some plans or thoughts in our mind that starting a business and what are the process involved. So here, I wanted to ask Balaji, my friend, who's been working for this agency or industry, a software industry, the company called Salesforce. So he's been working there for 10 to 15 years now. So he's really tired of it, working there 9 to 5, paying all these taxes. He and his wife, they have a beautiful family, 2 kids, one kid like maybe around 18, the other one 15. So they are really concerned. The money they are wasting for taxes and other, they are not able to write off any expenses. So I just want to ask Balaji the process. So if like me, if I'm working 9 to 5, and if I'm planning to start a business, so Balaji, just this is my thought. I've been asking a lot of friends, so they all have this dilemma or kind of confusion where to start and if it's really beneficial for them. As you know, like I go to work morning, come back evening, then you spend all your monies. That too, the money that you earn after taxes. So if I have other expenses, like say for instance, travel, food, other expenses like buying a computer, all other expenses, that is there any way that I can start a business, or maybe my friend who is an employee working for this company for the past 10, 15 years,
Right.
and he's also really concerned. He has this passion because he is working for the software company.
Right.
So he also planning to start something similar.
Okay.
So, what are your thoughts or ideas about that? Or how you think that a person, like a normal person, working person, can start a business, and what are the steps involved?
Anush, like before they start a business, you said your friend has worked for Salesforce for
Yes,
so many years in W2, right? So
10 to 15 years or more.
yeah, so definitely what the benefit and disadvantage of working for somebody else is, they definitely would have made a quite good amount of money. Unfortunately, the state and federal, they would have paid a lot of taxes,
That's correct.
right? And before paying taxes, the job expenses deduction itemization has been removed since last year. So they don't have option of
Yeah, that's their main concern because the itemization has been removed
right.
because of the new tax law.
Right. So what happens when people working consistently for the same employer, and when they're potentially getting more money, they end up paying a lot of taxes because they don't have option of itemizing their deduction. They would definitely would have spent a lot of money, traveling
Yes.
expenses, their cell phone expenses. They work from home.
Work
right?
from
They
home,
use
computer.
computers.
Yeah,
So they are in a position right now not able to set up any expenses.
that's correct.
So when they are locals, they can, if I were
What do you mean by the locals?
locals, like green card holders or the citizens here.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean.
So they definitely, if I were them, I would have considered negotiating to my employer, asking for a 1099 contracts to be a freelancing person.
So would they provide that?
It depends on that particular employer-employee relationship. So they
Okay.
have to try that part.
Okay.
So that may give a lot of advantages and benefits to that particular taxpayer. So what will happen? I'll just put a scenario. So now your friend, what?
I have a question before that. You mentioned about 1099 from the employer,
Right.
but not all the employers provide that 1099.
Correct.
So how they can obtain that?
Okay, so that's what I was about to say. So it's about their negotiation power.
Okay.
All right. So they may tell that I can get a little lesser than what I was paid earlier in W2. Right.
Okay.
That's one way they can convince that employer.
Uh-huh.
If that is, if I'm just giving an.
If it's a multinational employer, if it's a big company, would they give that?
Possibly, yes. There are so many big nationals, multinational companies are dealing with subcontractors.
Oh, okay.
Right. So in addition to employees, they have 1099 contractors also.
Okay.
So what will happen? You don't need to focus on just the big nationals, right? So
Okay.
you just need to focus on getting money, dollar. You need to go behind the dollars,
Right.
not who is going to pay you, what they are going to pay you. That matters.
Okay.
So you can even focus on a lot of people. You can just ask them. You can outsource their work,
Okay.
right? So that mainly a subcontractor's job.
So here I'm a bit concerned about the 1099. You mentioned that. That's a good thing that you mentioned that.
Right.
So if I have to obtain or get that 1099,
Right.
what are the process? Just initially, one thing that you mentioned that it's negotiate with your employer.
Right.
What is the next process, or is there any other
No,
alternative?
it's a negotiation in the sense you already an employee, right?
Yes.
So you set up an employer and employee relationship with that company.
Yes.
So negotiation in the sense what I meant is ask them to be a contractor for the company, break the employee relationship.
Oh,
So you're
okay.
free from that relationship and you're just
They'll
freelance.
be, or I'll be acting as a contractor.
Correct.
Okay.
That's called the 1099 form, which will be the compensation paid to the contractors at the end of the year, right? So when you become a contractor, just by some of your strategy, you explain to them. So once you do that, you will get that income, same income from previously you got as a W2 income. But now when you become a contractor, you simultaneously become a self-employed person.
Okay.
Right? And either you can do it in your personal Schedule C, or you can form a business and report that income and expenses also. You can itemize all the expenses. Say, for example, you're buying this pen to write all the expenses, right? And writing in the books. So you will categorize those as supplies.
Okay.
When you are a W2 employee, you cannot itemize anything. Whatever you are paying, you're just paying out of your pocket. When you become a business person, all substantial, so you need to highlight the word substantial, business expenses can be deducted from your gross income.
Okay. Substantial is the word that you should remember. Okay.
Right. So whatever is left over after all the business substantial reasonable expenses, then you can, that will be your net margin for the tax purposes too.
Tax purposes.
Right.
Okay.
So you, when you arrive at that income, so that flows through your personal, right? So there is no. So now you may ask a question: what will be if a person has moved to that particular position, whether they have to choose a LLC or S corporation or C corporation? Those are all the three type of entities in US.
Oh,
Very
those are the three
popularly
entities.
known. Yes.
LLC, S corp, and C corp.
Right.
Okay.
So LLC, it's a limited liability company. Right?
Okay.
The name stands for it has a limited liability.
Right.
Like any corporation has its own limited liability. There's something called partnership.
Okay.
It's unlimited partnership where your liability will be very huge, which we can talk in some other video. So we can focus on LLC and S corp at this video. So in the next video we'll talk about partnership, which is Form 1065, unlimited partnership, and C corporation. So
okay, so I just want to mention this to the viewers. Viewers, again, we'll be doing other videos and that will elaborate or explain more details about LLC, S corp, C corp, so that you get an idea which one, which entity you should choose. Right, Balaji?
right.
Yes.
So so continuing to that particular topic, so LLC or S corp, right? So now just will take an example. That particular friend of yours has negotiated with that employer and he now became a contractor. Right now he's thinking whether to keep that in as personal or LLC or S corporation.
That's correct.
So what makes a big difference is if he's the single person and he's not hiring anybody else, just a sole proprietor is fine.
Okay.
Like I said, in his individual name, he can file it in Schedule C. But you also added that his wife is also in the same boat.
Yes, his wife also working in the same industry.
Right. So if he is deciding to do something, his wife will also do the same thing, right?
Right.
So it's not going to be one member, single member. It's going to be two members.
Two members. That's
Right.
correct.
So now you will have only two choices. One option is gone. It's not a single member LLC. It's either a two member LLC or a S corporation.
Okay.
Right. So now again, what makes a big difference between these two? Are they going to work for that project, or are they going to hire somebody else?
There is a possibility, as you know, once the business grows or if they want to expand.
Okay,
maybe
you answer that
process.
question.
Yes,
No, you answer the question. So once a business develops, they may hire more people.
that's correct.
So at this point, they are going to work.
they're gonna work at
right?
this
So
point.
when they are the active people working for the business, they have to compensate by themselves as per the rule and regulation. Any accounting, nobody is going to support them. They are doing the job,
That's
literally,
correct. Yeah,
right? So
they're doing themselves everything
right,
like from the scratch.
right.
Yeah.
So when they materially participate, they are earning that income.
That's
It's
correct.
called earned income in
Earned
US.
income. Okay.
And that is earned income. Social Security and Medicare wants them to contribute towards a portion of it, that the actual percentage on the earned income. This is
Okay.
the rule.
Okay.
Right.
So how do they contribute then?
Okay. So now to do that, they, as the owners, they have to take salary.
Okay.
Right. They have to establish the employer and employee relationship.
Right.
When they do that, they are binding with the regulations. So they have to pay income tax. The company has a sole responsibility deducting payroll taxes. The payroll tax includes federal income tax, Social Security, Medicare, state unemployment tax, and state income tax. So that makes a big difference. So when the employer is participating materially, like I said, the earned income, they have to contribute all these taxes. And being like you ask, when they establish the employer and employee relationship, all this payroll process will come in picture. So at this time, when they want to do payroll process, it's too complicated. Not complicated, it's too much of rules and regulation. They definitely has to go to a better payroll provider,
Oh.
right?
Okay.
So they can go to if they are so familiar, they can do it, but they have to be very careful.
Okay.
Any single mistake will end up in a civil penalty
Oh.
because they are dealing with the employee taxes, and it may end up in a criminal offense also. They have to be very careful.
Okay.
So it's better to go for an experienced or full-time payroll service providers who do bookkeeping. Maybe
just like us.
Caspian Accounting Service or any big firms are also doing that. Depends on their need. So Caspian Accounting Service is also doing in a small scale.
Yes.
So
good that you mentioned. Yes, we
they
are
can-
also providing all that services. Viewers, you can always comment, and if you have any questions, we are here to help you.
right. So the payroll. Now coming back to payroll topic. So when your friend and his wife are materially working and they are taking salary, so they do all this Social Security, Medicare, everything at the end of the year. They will report everything, right? And next step, and when imagine they have grown up drastically, and they are thinking it's time for them to do some other activity, and they want to hire somebody else to continue this operation.
Some other activity in the sense expanding the business.
Either expanding, or they may do completely unrelated diversification. They may do some hotel industry. They may start a
so they
restaurant.
can start different industries.
Right.
That's
So they don't need to close this.
They don't
business
really
if it
have to
is-
focus only on this. They
Right.
can divert.
Right. When
Oh.
they make some money out of it, they can invest that money. That's called unrelated diversification. Not related.
Unrelated diversification. Okay.
Correct. So they may invest in a restaurant out of the profit made from this business, right?
Okay.
So when they do that, they still can continue this business if it is more successful. So they can hire two set of people, either a local people here, which I described earlier, who is a local here.
Local, like
Right.
a citizen or green card holders.
Yes, you're right. So the locals, that's a definition, either green card holder or a citizen. So we'll keep that as simple. And also they can hire students, right?
Oh, students.
Right.
Okay,
So
students in the sense college students.
College students. So college students has locals or international students too.
Oh, international students.
Right.
too.
So you don't need to find
So-
any people literally from out of the country.
Balaji, since you mentioned international students, a lot of employers or people, they don't know what are the implication consequences if they hire. So they are also worried about the new immigration laws and if they're going to that's going to affect their business.
Okay.
And could you a little bit? We're going to talk about that later in another video. But just want to get a clarification. What is there any implication or any consequence or any kind of negative adverse action or effect on the business?
No, I also heard this from some of my friends. Actually, to speak in the right way, legally, an employer can hire a student. If the student is also in the similar field, say for example, your friend is in a software company, right? So he's going to run a software business. You said it's so Salesforce technology. So many students international students and local students are into that technology. Even I know at least 3 or 4 students doing that Salesforce. Forget about Salesforce, not definitely Salesforce, anything related to software. The IT
Yeah, a
student
lot
has-
of IT companies
Right.
are.
So when you pick a student, we just need to find out whether that student is legally authorized to work. That's
Oh,
very
legally
important.
authorized to work.
Right.
That's one thing. Okay.
Second thing, even if international students, they have a benefit to work legally in this country with a status called CPT.
CPT.
Right.
Okay.
During their program, anything related to their studies, they can work 20 hours a week.
Okay. So anything related to their program, they can work up to 20 hours a week.
Right.
Under CPT program.
Yeah, so it depends on their college. So if the student approaches you, you just don't literally need to send them away. You just need to find out whether they have the legal authority to work and how many hours the college has can approve work in addition to their study hours. Right.
Okay.
So that is a possibility. So the employer should consider doing that. Maybe internship or part time. They can consider doing that. There's so many employers are doing and getting benefit out of it. Second, the final thing, so that's the thing. So they when they hire people like a local or a student or international student, and these owners can focus on some other activities, they will never they no longer need to materially participate. So now in this case, another big difference comes into picture. So now they are not materially participating, right? So they are making somebody else to work. So they are literally just the investors. So in this situation, they are not doing anything. They just put the money and doing the operation, right? So being they are not earning that money, who is earning the money? The employees are earning the
Employees
money,
are
right? So they are compensated by W2s.
Okay, so they are also compensated.
Right. So
Okay.
when they make their, so we need to make sure that we are deducting federal income tax, payroll tax, social security, Medicare for locals, not for international students. That also will talk in some other topic.
Okay, so this is the point. So Balaji is saying that they don't have to deduct Social Security or Medicare tax from the international students, but only from the citizens or green card holders who are legally
Authorized to work.
that's correct. Legally authorized to work in United States.
Right. So being these owners are carried away to some other business and the business is getting owned by the local employees over there. So now they cannot be S corp owners any longer because S corp wants the owners to take salary. Right. So when they take salary, when they materially put their heart and soul in the business, now they are focusing on something else and somebody else is working for them. So it has nothing to do with SCAP. They have to convert it back to LLC, possibly. This is the usual situation. So LLC, the owners must not take salary.
Or LLC owners must not take salary.
No, because there is nothing to compensate them.
Oh.
And when they do that, it's just a passive income. It's
Okay.
like an interest income or any rental income, right?
Okay.
They're not doing any activity. Employees are working for that money.
Right.
These guys are your friends are just the money investors, putting the money and getting the return out of it.
Out of it.
It's called passive income.
Right.
They don't materially participate, so no earned income at all. It's a passive income. So passive income does not have any relation with Social Security and Medicare. It's purely a K1 income, flows to your personal, and it will be taxed at your ordinary income tax rate. So that's about LLC. So now I think I explained a little bit about LLC and SCAR. People
Yes.
would have better idea who need to start LLC or who need to start SCAR. Related to this situation, they can think which entity they need to
They
choose.
need to
Right?
choose.
Also,
Yeah.
we spoke about hiring a local student also, international or local student. So there are so many opportunities available for business owners rather than working for somebody else more than certain year with the same amount of income and
That's
same
correct.
experience. So please consider forming a corporation when you are able to talk to your employer or find another potential party to hire you as a freelancing consultant. You can hire more people, right? So rather than just sticking with one employer, you can deal with so many employers if you are good in networking and if you are good in making friends. You can deal with so many people, and you can outsource to your own company and hire a lot of people to support you. So this is the hardest thing ever happening in America. If you want to grow further, like Anush was talking, his friend need to focus on his future children education and all this stuff. Doing business will make a big difference in life rather than working for somebody else. Please think about it. All the best. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, viewers. Thank you for watching our video. We'll see you in another video. Thanks for subscribing to our channel. If you have any questions or comments, please call us, subscribe to our channel, comment our videos. We are there to help you. Thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.